Stop the cap.
No. That black woman's comment is very indicative of the psyche of many black women. It's sad, but that's what people like myself, Dr. T. Hassan Johnson, and many others, have pointed out. It's like, again, most of these conversations, started with, educated lames, men that consider themselves high value men not in jail, established themselves, typically educated, and, what they were looking for, and it came out of black women, complaining that all the good brothers are over the fence, right? Completely ignoring the realities that, they don't want that category of brothers and, street swag and street smarts and future and all that stuff. They don't want to own that because that shit makes them look bad. So they're gonna downplay that shit, and they're gonna overplay things like colorism or self-hate, or they'll act like black men elevating other races of women because of the interactions that they have with other races of women, is rooted in self-hatred, as opposed to being rooted in, hey, I wasn't getting any play over here with sisters. I wasn't winning over here with sisters. So I went over the fence, and, the type of personality, the adherence to quote unquote mainstream white society, which it's always perplexed me at how, I get it and I don't get it, right? Because it's like black women, when they get in corporate America, they get their jobs, their careers, their education, they're awesome. They're to be praised. They're to do this. They're to that. They're just the bee's knees. When a black man goes out here and does the exact same thing, then all of a sudden he's not deserving of any level of respect. He's the white man's bitch, and he should be out there being a revolutionary and tearing down and fighting the system, right? And the reality is all these are just justifications for black women not to have to to freaking, get with the program, capitulate, recognize these brothers, give them praise and adoration and reverence and all that. They don't want to do any of that shit, because at the end of the day, as I've said numerous times, educated lames are not the desirable, group of men. Whether you want to use the term educated lame or not, we know what we're talking about. We're talking about, men that are not, just out here aloof, men who are, trying to, or already have established themselves, right? That's what we're talking about. We're not talking about guys in jails with felonies and guys that come out and can't hold down a job and selling a little bit of weed over here, weed over there. And, we're not talking about, that group of men. But because these women don't desire that group of men, they got to find some way to shoot you down. So you got to be either self-hating, or you got to be, just overall corny. If you back them into a corner enough, they will highlight how much they have disdain and don't like, men of, that quote unquote EL category. This is why a lot of black men, quiet as is kept, as I've newly discovered, why a lot of black men don't like Six the Goddess, because Six the Goddess really, she has no respect for lames. As far as she's concerned, if you don't have enough game, if you can't get pussy from black women, if you're not respected by black men in the streets, or like, regular niggas in the streets, like, she don't have any use for you. And despite how she looks, despite how, she could have been out there winning and all other type of stuff with, a high value man, she needs you to have some sort of edge, which, to a degree I can and cannot knock. It just depends on how far you want to take that. But unfortunately, the collective attitude and the collective mindset is similar, to Six the Goddess when it comes to, this category of black men that just don't got it like that, don't have what it takes to move black women in that way. This is why I've also, I've encouraged things like brothers getting your weight up. You know what I mean? It's like you ever look at like the electric cars in the past. I remember like in the 90s they used to have electric cars and shit. And all these like concept electric cars. And I was always saying, I was like, why does an electric car have to look like an electric car? Like, why can't an electric car look like a motherfucking spaceship? You know what I'm saying? Why can't that shit look fast or look sporty? Why does an electric car have to look like a damn Prius? You know what I mean? I mean, even they redesigned the recent Prius and that shit looks fire. But I'm just saying, why does it have to look that way, right? And I feel the same way about, quote unquote educated lames. I'm like, why do you have to look like Steve Urkel? Why do you have to look like a nerd? Why do you have to look like you can't do any damage? Why do you have to look that way? Like, why do you have to, funny because I just made a joke about this with sisters. Why do you have to look like, you're playing Madden and then you take like all of your attributes and you only put it into one column? You know what I'm saying? Like speed, but you got no stamina. Like, that's not going to work. Right? Like, I don't know why, people have to be, all or none. You know what I mean? Like, I don't get that. I don't know why they can't be just a little bit more balanced. So that's across the board, but all genders, all people. I don't know why people think if I max this out, I'm going to win. You know what I mean? It's like, no, most women don't want a guy that's on steroids and, looks like Bane or something, from, the old Batman, the Uma Thurman, with Bane Batman. No woman wants, a guy looking like, Randy Savage and he's, dumb as a brick. No, women don't want that. Right? So you got to balance the shit out within reason. But anyway, the whole what was getting back to the point about the woman's comment. Now, I mean, we've covered this. I mean, they literally do think that they're superior to black men in every way. It's how they've been brainwashed. It's what they've been taught. I've peeped it over the decades. And this is one of the reasons why a lot of black men, we don't feel that connection to black women like that. A lot of us don't. You know what I mean? It's very much, there's that lack of respect makes it extremely difficult, to engage with a woman and love and all this other stuff. Like, I always hear black women making these videos online talk about black men don't love us and they don't this and they don't that. Like, that shit's supposed to come out of the fucking void. You know what I mean? It's no different to me than when black boomers, and elders run up and talk about respect your elders, but these motherfuckers didn't establish anything, right? I don't eat off of you. I don't get a mortgage from you. I don't get economic opportunities from you. And then they think that they're going to come through and, curb your behavior and everything. The dynamic between young black people and boomers is pretty much identical between, black men and black women in both directions. Right? Because the black women, they'll jump up and they'll say, oh, black men didn't build this, so why should we submit? Why should we get with the program? And then black men will say, y'all be talking all this loyalty shit and everything else like that, and we don't love you and cherish you and everything, but you over there sitting on Pookie's dick. You know what I mean? Where's all this freaking support? You know what I mean? And then when you listen to the women, when they start laying shit out, it's usually a situation that they try to take advantage of. It's usually, this guy slept on my couch and this guy, was eating my food and I let him borrow some money. I'm like, where are ELs doing this? Where is this going on from the category of men that you all really don't want? You know what I mean? Like, so it's kind of silly because, these women will conflate populations of black men when it's convenient. We know that there's different populations of black women. We know that you got ratchets on one side, and then you got the freaking I'm a strong, independent diva queen, boss bae chick that wants to pull her dick out and put it on your forehead. Those are the two categories of black women that are out here. By and large, those are your two primary categories. The Glorrillas and the Ebony K. Williams type. You know what I mean? But we know that there's a distinction. But black women will sit there and they'll try to, just act like there's no educated brothers, there's no brothers there's no counterpart to Ebony K. Williams, and then they'll just try to make every black man out here a nigga. right? Ray Ray and Pookie it to death. They do the same bullshit that white supremacy does. Where all black people, all black men are criminals, and they're all, selling drugs, and they're all this and they're all that. And like I said in the comment section, it's amazing at how black women can always see the flaws and the faults in black men, but they can't see the flaws and the faults in themselves. Let them tell it. The majority of black women are Michelle Obama, and the Glorrillas are a minority. You know what I'm saying? That's literally how they perceive themselves. I'm like, how can you talk about niggas and pookies and Ray Rays and all this other shit? This is one thing I'll give Chrissy credit for acknowledging in her video. I'm like, finally a woman said it. You know what I mean? The majority of people out here are freaking, niggas and bitches. That's what the majority is. I made this point, when I first came online. It's like you got black men and black women. Like, you got a football field, you got black men and black women at like each end of the end zone, and then in the middle you got like a sea of niggas and bitches, and like those two people are trying to get to each other, and they get like tackled, they sprain an ankle before they even get all the way down the field, and that unfortunately is what happens. You know what I mean? But people will say, why, don't the black people who are, of sound mind, why don't they get together? That's easy, because it's a power struggle. It's a power struggle. Just plain and simple. It's a power struggle. The other thing that I wanted to point out, and I wrote this in the comments section, is, it's hard for black men to quote unquote value black women and listen to a lot of their demands and the things that they say that they want, because of who they deal with, who they've been dealing with, that has been very, public and very visible. The Dusties, the Ray Rays and Pookies. I mean, majority of black women out here seem to have babies, by men that it's like, that's your baby daddy. You know what I mean? That's who you got with. That's who you laid up with. And when black women, when that's so visible in public, and then when black women come online and they start talking about what I feel I deserve, and this is why you hear rhetoric about course correction. Course correction means you already fucked up. Course correction means you already made a decision and it didn't work out and you fucked up, and now you're trying to, quote unquote course correct, which means that another person, another black man that had nothing to do with your whole entire situation has got to come in and be the cleanup man. That's what you're looking for. You're looking for a nigga to come save you. Black men are asking, why do I need to come through and save anybody? Why if I'm out here and I'm trying to be the best version of me, why can't I get a black woman that's the best version of her? Why do I have to deal with, some other dude's mess, right? And then not only that, you got the whole aspect of the disrespect. Like women really don't understand how much they validate the very men that they complain about. When you sleep with these men and you give these men immortality and you have their seed. You know what I mean? From an evolutionary standpoint, this is why I say black people, it's like when it comes to black women, they operate in like reverse natural selection. I'm like, you have like how do you place a value on another group on one group of men when you're having the babies of another group of men? How do you even establish a value? You say, oh, this is better, this is that. How, when you're over there fucking with it? I mean, this is the same argument that black women make about how, a black man's messaging speaks very loudly when we have Becky on our arm, or we have a Latina on our arm, or some non-black woman on our arm. We don't have to say shit. The fact that she was chosen is like screaming from a loudspeaker that this non-black woman is better than a black woman because I chose her over a black woman. I'm not saying that that's what's actually happening. I'm saying that's how people perceive it. And if we can say that, then we can also say when black women go out here and they get with Dusties or Pookies and they have their baby, that it speaks very loudly to the men that you all value. Because one of the worst things that happens to quote unquote educated lames is, when these guys open their mouth about who was first, who was chosen, who was the priority. It's no different than what goes on with the I don't know, the microaggressions, when it comes to women and the slight eyes, what do you call that? The slighted eyes or whatever, the slanted eyes that they throw at each other based off of which chick is with which dude and all that other stuff. Like, yeah, bitch, I mean, I've seen crazy shit be said, yeah, bitch, how did my spit taste? You know what I mean? Like, basically, I had him first. You'll see this with baby mamas. Baby mama number 1 versus baby mama number 2. Talk about, you got my sloppy seconds. And then the second chick is talking about, that's because you couldn't keep a man, bitch. All that stuff, So I'm just saying, the last thing a black man who goes out here, who hasn't made any mistakes, has got his shit together, made moves and everything, the last thing he wants is some unqualified dude to be able to talk shit to him and talk about how he's had access to, a black woman that's supposed to be the fucking prize. Y'all talk all this stuff about y'all want to be the prize, but you don't act like the damn prize. You know what I mean? If you're the prize, you don't just give your shit out just to any old body. You know what I mean? But black women have a reputation of giving it out to any old body, and then psychologically they somehow want, black men to magically put a value on them. That, or the same value that's put on other races of women that they have no history of, the negativity and shit like that. That's a very tall order. Chick busting it wide open, got this dude's babies, or has the reputation of, even if she doesn't have any babies, if she's got a high body count with men that are nothing like you. In other words, it's the same thing that I've been hearing over the last, couple of weeks or months, from I think Chrissy was the first person to say it, and then you got Six the Goddess, who said it recently in her video. You know what I mean? When you are out here and you're dealing with a dude and he's got no track record of dating black women or dark-skinned women, you need to keep it the fuck moving. Okay, if y'all can say that, if a black man comes across a black woman and she's got a track record of nothing but street niggas, then a dude that's not a street nigga, he should what? Keep it the fuck moving, right? Is that not a fair assessment? You see what I'm saying? But y'all will run around and y'all start bringing up colorism and self-hate and all this other. Like, no, bitch, I seen who you fuck with. You fuck with D-boys and street niggas, and that's what you like. That's your shit. If I walk into a situation like that, that's going to be a disaster. And then on top of that, it is not of any consolation, okay, for a man to be the one that you course correct with. That's not a consolation. You know what I'm saying? Because now it's like, oh, you done went out there, busted wide open, giving yourself to some other dude, and now, the woman's like, can I course correct? Can't I do better? Yeah, but you never asked the question, but can the dude that you're trying to do better with, can he do better than you? Y'all never asked that question to yourself. Can he do better than you? This is where the female arrogance comes in, where these women, swear up and down that just off of the strength of being a woman and having a vagina, that I'm a 10, I'm a 10, I'm a 10, I'm a 10. That they all have value. And a lot of y'all don't got shit going on. You don't got shit going on, in life. You don't have shit going on upstairs. But you'll come online, I'm a 10, I'm a 10, I'm a 10, I'm a 10, I'm a prize, I'm course correct, what I feel I deserve. It's fucking arrogance. Trying to think what else, if there's anything else that I wanted to touch on. I think that's it. But it's I mean, I've had, over the years, back and forth with Captain Solo about this whole, the whole value thing. And I'm like, yo, like, their reputations matter when it comes down to valuing something. You know what I mean? When Japanese cars first came to America, people looked at them like they were shit. And then they hired that white guy, I forget what his name, Dr. Deming, I think his name is. It might not be Dr. Deming. I know his last name is Deming. But anyway, he basically improved Japan's quality control, when it came to manufacturing of their vehicles. And they got statues of him all over Japan, right? Because he turned Japan's ambitions of, automotive manufacturing into essentially what it is today in terms of the quality, that these vehicles have. Like, like Toyota should just start running, Taliban commercials, with trucks, because that's all the Taliban uses. All they use are Toyotas, Al Qaeda, all that stuff in the Middle East, desert conditions, dust all over the place. And those trucks from the 80s are still running. They put a damn machine gun on the back of it on a turret and call it a day. Right? That speaks volumes to the value of Toyota, which allows Toyota to what? Increase its prices, charge a premium. Right? Same thing with Hyundai, right? Hyundai came in here. Remember the Hyundai Accent? That was like the what was that? The Geo Metro. Like the Hyundai Accent was like the most bullshit cheapest fucking car that you can get. Now they got, the G90 and the Genesis Stinger and shit like that. Like now they charging $65,000, for any one of their cars, giving you, 300 horsepower plus. Right? They built that reputation. And black women, I hear these arguments. Like when I look at black men are like, the educated lanes are like, I gotta get money in order to have value, right? These are not the guys that are running around, on some, I'm looking at my third eye, I got the sweet twinkle of white Jesus, I serve the Most High, praise be to Allah. No. These are not magical men. These are men that are like, I need to have the car, I need to have the house, I need to have, I need to be able to have the things that provide for a family, because that's what I'm moving towards, right? The black men of the quote unquote high value box understand that. Again, when they go into corporate America, when they go into their workspace, it's about productivity, it's about results. That's what it's about, right? So they understand that concept and they carry that with them. Okay? Black women, on the other hand, they do shit. They talk this shit like course correction, what my worth is, right? And they already got a fucked up reputation, right? And this is both with the educated women and the uneducated women. Because I told you the story about the sister that I was fooling with in grad school. I mean, not only did she come from a wealthy family, but again, she was the dude that she dated before she dated me. Remember she opened her mouth talking about, I can't marry him. I was like, why not? He don't come from what I come from. I was like, bitch, quiet as is kept, neither do I. Because while your father owns a company, what I'm saying, my parents are just working professionals. They're doing well for themselves, but they ain't balling out of control, not like your father with his millions. But I'm saying, her whole attitude, like she act like she could put him down in front of me, and act like if she does put him down in front of me, that wasn't a reflection on her. I'm like, but before you were fucking with me, you was fucking and sucking this nigga's dick and everything else. Now you telling me that he ain't shit. And that like you trying to inflate my ego. I'm like, actually, chick, you're having the opposite effect. And she didn't realize that. I'm like, you're putting him down, so basically you was out here fucking with trash and everything, and that now I'm supposed to put it up on a pedestal, right? I'm supposed to recognize how awesome you are because you put him down because he ain't on your level and he didn't come from the right socioeconomic background and everything. Even though he was good enough for you to fucking suck for as long as you were fucking and sucking him. You know what I'm saying? Like women don't get this. And so you have black women that have this reputation of going out here and fucking with dust. That's y'all choice. That's what y'all wanted to do. Okay? And suddenly you think just because you say the magic words, course correction, or you say the magic words, I know my worth, that suddenly that black men are supposed to, we're supposed to value you and put you on a pedestal when you still got this reputation and have done nothing to correct it. You know what I mean? You know what a good start would be? It would be a moratorium on Dusties, right? Or moratorium on Pookie. I should hear Pookies complaining like a motherfucker out here, but I don't. Right? I should see black women not having babies with Dusties and Pookies, but I don't. I see them still producing children. I see children still being birthed. And I know this is fact because behind the scenes there have been several women who have acknowledged, they're like, I'm not going to any more baby showers with black women that don't have a fucking ring on it. That was verbalized out loud. And these are, these women's girlfriends, women that they kick it with, and they don't approve of what they did. Not surprisingly, all the women who have made these statements are women who, didn't have any children and weren't married yet. Because they were like, hey, I'm not doing it that way. So, like I said, we got a sea of niggas and bitches in the middle, and then we got black men and black women on either side. But even when we come to the table, there's still, details that we don't agree upon. And a lot of black women have, major issues with the concept of black male leadership. They have a hell of a paradox, when it comes to, they have a hell of a paradox when it comes to, wanting hypergamous equality, which doesn't exist. That's not me black male splaining. That's just a reality. You can't sit there and say that you want to be taken care of and provided for at the same time you're a man's equal like that. Because at that point, he's the one that becomes the slave. He's the one that he's supposed to walk in the door, hand you, the majority of his paycheck, and then not make any demands or requests or anything. Is that how that works? That's like, imagine having a wedding and you got the DJ at the wedding. You done paid, $1,500 for this DJ at the wedding, and then the DJ's like, I'm gonna play what I want to play. Like, what? Nigga, what did I pay $1,500 for then? Like, that's literally what it's like with these women. And then the women try to, they sprinkle feminism on top of it to try to make it seem like, anything other than them having absolute control, is oppression, is misogyny, is misogynoir. And you're like, huh? How do you figure that? And then again, the problem that a lot of black men have is we have witnessed you all over the decades go out here and get with these men where clearly you demanded very little to nothing. Okay? That's how you all got into a lot of these situations. You demanded nothing. And then it's like, brothers, they go away for, let's say up to, 8 years to a decade, get their education, get their master's, whatever, right? Right, their professional degree, right? They go and they get all that, and then they come out, and they're like, yeah, man, I'm in the position to fucking, get the type of babe I want, to make the type of demands I want. I'm in the fucking position, right? But then y'all jump up and go, oh, no, you not. No, you not. Off of the strength of stupid ass ideas. I'm like, off of the strength of what? What makes you think you can say that? And then y'all will throw shit up like feminism. Like, how? What does feminism have to do? I thought we were talking about men needed to be in the proper position in order to X, Y, and Z, right? I thought that's what it's about. Where does feminism come into this shit? Right? It wasn't feminism when you were sitting on Pookie's dick. It wasn't feminism when you were having the Dusties babies. It wasn't feminism then. No demands were being made then. And then again, the conflating of the men that have been running through bitches for, however many years, right? With men that clearly were not running through women, or don't have any children, or not married, and we're not men that you're even remotely interested in. I mean, this is just something that I struggle with. A lot of times, Cat would, he's so into making corrections a lot of times that he kind of overlooks this, until the women just get, like, he'll back the women and back the women and back the women, and then the women will say something that's just so ridiculous that he's just like, man, fuck it. You know what I mean? Like, he has days where he's just like, fuck it. You know what I mean? Just like that shit with Keke Palmer and Steve Harvey sitting up there. I mean, literally telling her, like, look, you making good money. I'm saying, you can't, don't need to be out here getting with some dude that you taking care of. Like, nah, this is Steve Harvey trying to tell her. And, she went out there and did what she did what she wanted to do, not what was in her best interest. And that's another thing. Like, a lot of times what black women want to do is not in their best interest. Y'all want to do certain things and you call it freedom, but it's not in your best interest. And then when a man tries to put you on and say, hey, this is not in your best interest, I know how you might feel, but this is not in your best interest. And then you go out there and you operate, the way that you operate, and you get the short end of the stick. Now you're the victim. Now you want to complain. Now it's everybody else's fault. This is like what y'all do. Go and watch that Steve Harvey clip and try to tell me that a black man didn't try to save this young black woman. You cannot save people who don't want to listen to you. You cannot help people who don't want to listen to you. People who say, fuck what you're saying, I know what I'm doing. You can't help those people. So, I can't make this any more clear to black women, but y'all want to continue to go down the path of no, it's not black women and it's not black women's fault. No, it's black men because we make stupid decisions because X, Y, and Z isn't in place, even though you all fight to make these decisions because those decisions look like freedom to you. They look like independence to you. They look like strength to you. They look like empowerment to you. It's like you all want the power to make dumb decisions. Okay, fine. And with the power to make dumb decisions comes the consequences that come with making those dumb decisions. Somehow, I don't understand this thing about women fighting for making the ability to make choices and decisions, and then argue that they want somebody to rescue them from the decisions that they fought to make. It's insane. None of this happens for men. None of this happens for men. We fuck up, we make a fucked up decision, nigga, that's on you. And that's the end of it. Ain't nobody coming to the rescue. Because at the end of the day, we're going to be told, well, you a man and you got a penis. And that's what we're going to be told. You need to man up. You need to suck it up. But when it comes to women, y'all can be the nastiest, most defiant bitches on the goddamn planet. Okay? Motherfucker, relinquish his hand, say, all right, you know what, fuck it. Because y'all going to call me a misogynist. Y'all going to call me, the oppressor, all this other stuff. Okay, hands off. Y'all, you go out there and you do what you want to do. And the woman's like, she goes out, does what she wants to do. You know what I mean? Completely fucks up. And now it's, I only made this decision because y'all weak niggas ain't in the position to control me. I'm like, oh my God. You know, I'm not going to say who said it, but one black woman in particular that I used to argue online, she actually said it. She said the problem with black men is y'all the only men that aren't smart enough to know that you have to control your women. I'm like, ain't this a bitch? With all this strong, independent diva queen, I do what I want. I'm a boss bitch. Can't nobody tell me feminism, female empowerment. You go, girl, black girl magic. The audacity of this woman to act to just throw that out there. And it always happens, always 11th hour, 30 seconds on the clock. You know what I mean? It always happens that black women want to retreat to playing the position that black men have been trying to play, that get them to play all along. Whenever the fire gets too hot, the furnace is too hot for them, then all of a sudden, now they're damsels in distress. They're fainting Victorian versions. Oh, what happened? I saw a spider. Oh, now they fainting all over the place. 5 minutes ago, you can't tell me what to do, knucker. But now the furnace is too hot. Oh, I think I'm having a fainting spell. Oh, all of a sudden, now, motherfuckers over there fanning their face and shit, holding, someone give me scissors. I must cut her corset. You know what I mean? Like, really? Oh, that's y'all. And all this leads into, now we got a whole community of the exacerbated levels, worse than when I even came online, of niggas and bitches and single moms and everything else. And now, it's, no, if you educated lames, you want our respect, you must come in and clean up all the shit, all the irresponsible shit and shit we've been fighting for since day one. You must come in and clean all this up if you want our respect. Which, truth be told, and I really wish Tariq Nasheed would have expounded on, the video that he did. I made my video, and then I came across his video, he put shit in street terms and everything else like that. But I mean, he was just like, yeah, they want people to come through, all the responsible black people to come through and, clean up for all the shit that irresponsible people were doing. In so many words, that's what he said. But I mean, I'm saying he was, I just wish he expanded on that. I'm like, nah, nigga, do a whole video on that shit. Don't just gloss over that shit, because that's what's been going on. Trying to get people to, to operate like that and play that type of position. And we know it's a sucker's game. And the most powerful thing that he said in there is that, it's some noble shit. You know what I mean? It really is. But at the end of the day, like, the way black people are, no, they're not going to appreciate that shit. And like I said in my video, a lot of it comes down to the fact that, they don't like how it makes them feel. They don't like the idea that they have to acknowledge, like, you fucked up. That's why you got to bring somebody else in here in the first place, because you fucked up. But see, because they don't have any respect, they don't like that whole category of brothers. You know what I mean? Like, they're not going to do that. They're not going to sit there and be like, you were right. No, they're not going to do that. They're going to be like, yeah, nigga, that's what you supposed to do. Yeah, if y'all want our respect, yeah, the black community is broken because y'all niggas fail. That's what's going to be. They're going to try to angle it from the standpoint of I owe you, or you owe us, and you need to come in and clean this up. Right? And mind you, like, one of the biggest issues that I think people ignore is the fact that we don't have a dog in the fight. You know what I mean? Like anytime you have men that are brought into a particular situation, you know what I mean? Like, they got to have a dog in the fight. Wives, children, family, all that shit. Why do you think the U.S. government, when all those young men came back from World War II, they were like, we got to build some houses. We FHA loans, we got to build some houses. We got to create white suburbia. We got to create the white middle class. Because we got young, capable, fighting age men coming back into the community. We can't have them being unemployed and underemployed and bitchless and not married, and we can't have that. Now, fortunately, since the rest of the world was bombed to hell, the United States was able to, have a flourishing manufacturing base where literally the world consumed everything that the United States manufactured. That has now shifted where everything is outsourced and manufactured overseas, and now we see the decline of the U.S. quality of life. You see, but I'm the point that I'm making is that those white men that came back from World War II, you know what I mean? They had a dog in the fight. Even when it came to before they went over there, to fight the war. You know what I mean? Like all the patriotism, everything else like that. Now, fortunately for them, the U.S. government followed through. But in the black community, I mean, where would there be a follow through? What's the follow through? These women already have babies. They're already mothers of these young men. This isn't some, Starship Troopers go to Klendathu, fight the insects, and then come back, to protect any more comets from landing on Earth and destroying your local city. Like, no, this is not Starship Troopers. You know what I mean? This is, what the hell is this woman doing? This is, this is just, come in and be the garbage man, be the cleanup man. And that's what it is. And these women can use all of the type of shaming language that they want to use. It's not working. It's not working. And I mean, looking at it, I don't know what many black women thought when it came to, and even black men for that matter, because, Pookie shits on, the brothers going to school and everything. Not each and every one of them, because I've heard cases where, street dudes have put, especially men in their family, they're like, look, I'm in the streets, this is what I'm doing, you know what I mean? But you the cousin, I don't want you being in the streets, you know what I'm saying? Just let me know what you need for books, school, food, whatever, I'll break you off, you know what I'm saying? But get that degree, get legitimate, become that lawyer. Like, that's the smart way to do it, right? But there's not a whole bunch of that going on in the black community. There's more of the put down and whatnot. And it's like, I don't know why people do that. Because I'm like, now you done pissed motherfuckers off. They ain't going to do shit for you. Because you shit on, they got those memories in their mind now. You shit on them too hard. All they can think about when they see your face is being shit on, being dunked on. You know what I mean? Yeah, nigga, how these nuts taste? You know what I mean? That's all they got in their mind. So when folks are like, oh, the black community, what about the community? What about the white supremacy and we just out here getting our clocks clean, and what really needs to happen is all the responsible black people need to come in the black community and they need to fix it up and they need to build this and do that and do this and do that. Right? Even though we was shitting on you, but I mean, let bygones be bygones, right? You know what I'm saying? Water underneath the bridge, right, homie? Right? And then they think they're gonna come through and clean it up. I mean, there just ain't nothing in there. Let's see. Create economic opportunities for the same motherfuckers that was talking a whole bunch of shit and shitting on me and rubbing it in my face, all the bitches they done fucked, and the girl that I had a crush on, they done fucked that bitch, and then you come in there and there's really no opportunity to develop or build a family with any of the women that you would be helping out. Like, I mean, where I'm saying, make up a reason. Where's the dog in the fight? Y'all sit there and say, yeah, but black men need to empower themselves. I agree with you. So I think that the educated lame dudes should be working with each other. I never took that off the table. But what we're talking about here is fixing the community that is deeply broken, right? And quiet as is kept, what truly does need to be prioritized are the men of means and resources, like live your leisure, or earn your leisure. I keep saying live your leisure, earn your leisure. I think it's earn your leisure. Earn your leisure. You know what I mean? Like brothers like that, channels like that. That's what needs to happen. Not all this, you need to go into BC and charity, charity the black community's way out of poverty. So brothers need to, become more effective at working with each other than it comes to, the community and all the other type of stuff. But anyway, that's all I gotta say. That's my video. SWP out. Don't forget to comment, share, like, and subscribe.
Okay. So I'm not saying that all men. Don't get me wrong. I don't want anybody to be confused into thinking that I'm suggesting that all men know what they're doing. I'm not saying that all men have good leadership skills or even know where they're going. I'm not saying all men. What I am saying though specifically is that when you come across, like you said, headstrong women who may have some degree of a foundation established or not, men who are taught to do the right thing do not recognize women as the rock in the foundation. They are. Okay, that's all I'm trying to say. I'm not saying it's right.
Wow. Yeah, because I'm a very headstrong woman, and I've been headstrong since the day I was born. Even my father couldn't get to me. Nobody, no man can get to me.
Okay, so
you know what I'm saying? And I understand what that means because now here's the question: what if it's a headstrong woman?
Then you go back to what I said yesterday.
You just said the problem.
In other words, I have to
stop.
Men
who are raised don't think that women are.
Let me say this. I have to put this on record. I run my family. I'm just going to come out and say that shit. I run my shit. I run my family. My husband is the extension of running the family, but I run my family.
Okay.
When it comes to decisions, I have the last say so.
Okay, Don. So you asked me yesterday. What happened?
I have the first say so.
Okay, so here's what I'm saying. You asked me yesterday. What does a man do when he comes across that woman? And I told you he stops his pursuit and he has to pursue someone else.
No, that nigga falls in line.
Pardon me?
Like a grown-ass man who sees the benefit of the situation falls in line. He assumes his position. He becomes the king of the fucking household. Men do not become kings in other people's castles. They build their own. That's the dumbest shit I've ever heard. You serious?
Okay.
So you're saying queens? Hold on. So you're totally neglecting the entire aspect of the fact that the king's position in most matriarchal society is given to him because of the fucking queen?
Oh, wait, I'm sorry.